what the referees did. And I know why Stephanie White got a technical.
What's worse, going into game one, missing 6 players, or seeing the referees tilt the floor against you in the biggest moment of your season? That's exactly what the Indiana Fever dealt with against the Atlanta Dream, and you could feel the frustration boiling over. Stephanie White went off, literally got a technical foul for saying what every fan was already thinking. So how does a team, held together by tape and grit, keep fighting through injuries and officiating chaos? Was it really bad luck, or something that felt a whole lot more like sabotage? Stay with me, because what happened in Game 1 has fans furious, players livid, and the entire league buzzing about whether the Fever were robbed. Do you think the Fever was robbed by the refs? Let us know down in the comments below. Ashen walking into the playoffs, missing half your rotation before the ball even tips. How do you even try to compete? That's the exact nightmare the Indiana Fever faced. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 players. You want to talk about bad luck? Caitlin Clark's groin injury was already a season ender. Chloe Bibby's knee took her out. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson were gone with their own knee problems. Ari McDonald was sidelined with her foot. And just to make the cut even deeper, less than 24 hours before Game 1, Damiris Dantas was slapped by concussion protocol. That's 6 players who should have been suiting up. 6 rotation pieces stripped away. And yet this team still had to step onto the floor against a dream roster that was fully loaded and waiting. How is that fair to the players or the fans? Indiana fought through this exact kind of punishment all season just to secure the 6th seed. They scratched and clawed their way through months of lineups shuffled together like a puzzle, missing entire pieces. And instead of being rewarded with a clean slate for the playoffs, they showed up in Atlanta with more names on the inactive list than some teams have on their bench. And speaking of the bench, it was a sight. The Fever decided everyone was traveling. All 16 players, healthy or not, were there. It was a gesture that screamed unity, but also highlighted the absurdity of their situation. There weren't even enough seats. The main row filled up so fast that players in street clothes had to sit in a second row behind the actual bench like they were waiting for boarding on a flight. You know you've hit the injury lottery when you can't even fit the whole group along the sideline. This is where context matters. Think about the other playoff teams. They're bringing out solid second options, reliable players they can rotate when stars pick up fouls or need a breather. Indiana didn't have that. They were leaning on whoever was left standing, patching holes with tape, grit, and prayer. And yet, despite all this, they made the postseason 2 years running. That alone says resilience. Sophie Cunningham might have summed it up best. Without even trying, stuck in rehab for her knee, she jokes she's basically part of the medical staff now. It was a throwaway line, but it showed the ridiculousness of the whole season. A starter turned cheerleader, cracking jokes to keep spirits up while knowing she should be out there making shots. That's the Fever in a nutshell, finding ways to smile through the pain. And the wildest part? Those injuries didn't stop the team from coming out of the gate swinging it. Game 1, they caught Atlanta off guard early and built a lead like they were too stubborn to. Notice their disadvantages. Of course, it couldn't stay that simple, because right when the Fever proved they could hang, despite everything, the referees decided to insert themselves and change the direction of the game completely. Every playoff game has its swings, but nothing flips faster than a whistle that doesn't make sense. Indiana walked into Atlanta carrying the weight of 6 injured players and still punched first. They jumped out to a 15-6 start with Kelsey Mitchell drilling shots early and Alia Boston doing what she does best, dominating the glass and clogging the lane. The Fever were locked in, playing like a team that had no intention of letting their short-handed roster define the night. For a moment, it felt like the impossible was about to happen. A broken roster threatening a healthy dream squad. And then the officiating started to bleed the energy out of the game. That early rhythm was disrupted by whistles that came out of nowhere. Defensive stops that should have turned into fast breaks instead became free throws for Atlanta. Clean contests were marked as fouls. Mitchell and others would fight through screens to keep the Dream from getting clean looks, only for the play to be stopped and reversed by a call that didn't add up.